To rest or not to rest. Now, you're a resting man. If you earn the right to rest in the last round, you reckon it's the way to go. And the Panthers, well, they're going to rest pretty much their whole team. But we see some exciting youngsters. Now, you could tell us a bit more about them. I've seen that Thomas Jenkins in the centres. He can go. He goes good.
Yeah, they were all very young when I left Penrith, but I can remember Jimmy Jones speaking very highly of all those boys that have come into the side. Thomas Jenkins, I think, came from Burrawa.
Right.
You might have seen him playing with young cherry pickers down there.
Mm-hmm.
Big, rangy outside back, centre or winger, and he's come through the grades, and he's been very impressive in all his football through the lower grades and in the New South Wales Cup, and he's deserving of his chance. He's only got representative class players keeping him out of first grade. He probably plays first grade with any other club at the moment. So no, they're good boys. They're good boys.
You surprised Luai's not playing?
No, not at all. I'm at this time of year, the players are match fit. It's now just keeping them healthy for your biggest day and making sure that they're ready to go. And they've been down this road for a few years now. And any time you can get the opportunity to have a break at this time of year, that's why making the top four is important and winning that first round is important to get another break after that. So I'm a big fan of resting players, and they've got the luxury to do so they should take that luxury and get it done.
Yeah. So we've got one round until the finals, but there's still a little bit to be decided in terms of who finishes where, and particularly tomorrow night, the first game on 9, round 25, Parramatta versus Melbourne is a clash for the top 4. Now, if Para win tomorrow, I've just had a look at it, and I've confirmed this with Middo. Para wins, they finish 4th, which means Melbourne on for and against they'd need the Roosters to smash Souths, like at 60 points or something in differential. So Melbourne will essentially lock up 5th.
Yep.
Which means the Roosters and Souths will be playing each other in week 1 of the finals as well.
I think they're both well aware of that.
So how do you think they're approaching that one? Like, first game at Allianz, big occasion, knowing that they're probably going to play each other in an elimination final the week after. That's an interesting little situation for both clubs.
Yeah, it is, but they'll know their fate after the Eels play the Storm, because they play first up, don't they?
So if Para win, do you reckon will they go 100% at each other, or will they keep something in the locker?
I think it might mean some late team changes.
Yeah.
I would expect that to happen, but right at the moment they're not thinking about that. The coach will have it in the back of his mind what his strategy might be if that's the case. If Storm win, then it's a different scenario, I guess. I guess whoever finishes 4th and 5th, the 5th place getter is likely to play Canberra Raiders. And the winner of this game is likely to play Panthers. So 4th place first. So it's a much. It's whether or not you'd rather go back and play Canberra Raiders with no chance of a week off and then play losing teams as they come off their losses to get to the grand final, or take on the Panthers straight away after they've rested their players and maybe catch them on the hop early. Panthers lost their first semi-final last year, remember? It's not easy to win that first one, and then Parramatta or Storm would get the second week off and straight into the preliminary final. So
I reckon I know who Para want to play. They want Penrith.
Well, yeah, I don't think either side is scared of playing Penrith, and I think that's the way to go. You want to play for that right to get into the preliminary final and keep advancing your cause. I don't think anyone goes to September planning to lose a semi-final. I know the Premiers did it last year, but it's very rare that someone loses through September and then goes on to win the comp. You want to go there planning to win all your games and 1, 2, 3 and carry the shield. That's the way you should be thinking. But all the coaches here are pretty experienced,
of course,
and they'll know this journey well, and they'll also know how their team is injury-wise. And Roosters have made a long run, and they've got a long run to go if they want to play on the big day. So, Trent Robinson will have a couple of strategies up at the back of his mind. He won't be saying that to the players this week. As far as the players are concerned, they're playing South at Allianz, the opening of Allianz to their home ground, and they'll be looking to go out and give it to them. It's as simple as that. I can't see South and Roosters giving each other an edge.
It's a curious one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
We've been talking or debated, I suppose, the merits of Parramatta right throughout this season, given their up and down campaign. And at one stage, I think we sat here a few weeks ago saying it's not even a foregone conclusion they make the finals. If they win tomorrow and finish in the 4, where do they rate in relation to Penrith dangers?
Look, they're capable of beating Penrith. We've seen that twice this year. But there were mitigating circumstances, I think, in the second game with the dismissal of Cleary. Was that the game where he was dismissed? Yep. And they played against 12 men. And I thought Penrith, with 12 men in the second half, actually competed very, very strongly. And I said after that game, well, at full strength, Parramatta cannot beat Panthers again. And that's the way I feel about it. I don't see Penrith losing again for the rest of the year. So that's just my view. But they're in there with a chance, and they've beaten them twice, and they are a team that does trouble them. So it's no doubt about that. It's a very intriguing final series.
Oh, really?
It's going to be great football. We've had to put up with so much rubbish football during the year. The bottom 6 or 8 teams have really struggled, and they can put in some really poor performances. They just can't match it with the top sides for most of the time. And when they play each other, you can see when the bottom teams play each other and when the top teams play each other. That's when you see the real gap. It's not just when top team plays the bottom team. It's when you see 2 great teams play against each other. Like that Storm Roosters game the other night, and then the Cowboys South Sydney game the other night.
Yep.
And then you go and watch 2 lower teams play against each other. It's like they're from a different planet. The lower teams would not survive in those sorts of games at the moment. They would not have survived in a Storm versus Roosters game. There's no one out of the bottom 8 that could have survived in that game. The way the players threw themselves at each other, the intensity and the type of football that was played, and that's the gap in the competition. You really see it then. So we're going to have a great month of football. It's going to be a wonderful month of football. All these games will be really intriguing, and they'll be hard fought. And other than Panthers, who I think are a cut above the other 7, the rest, anything can happen. Anything can happen with the rest. It really can.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating final series. Just